Hi there, welcome back to the continuation of the place dish. What I'm going to do now on the stove side, I've got a pan of water on there coming up to the boil. That is for the paupiettes, which I'm going to poach those off in. There's no need to have that water seasoned because the paupiettes are wrapped in the cling film, therefore putting salt in there would do nothing for it. So that's just water which is going to come to the boil. Like I say, I'm going to drop my paupiettes in there and that will be 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm quickly going to bring together my cassoulet, which is going to finish the dish off beautifully. It's going to be packed full of flavour. It's going to provide a starchy base underneath the light fish and add to that flavour. So what I've got for my cassoulet today, and there's a lot of different cassoulets could go together for this. I've got some red onion. You could use white onion. I'm using red because I had it just to add to the texture and the appearance. I've got 1 clove of garlic which I've crushed on my board, a little bit of salt and crushed it down, so I've got onions and garlic. I've got butter beans, just a tin of butter beans. I've drained and washed those off, so I've got rid of the brine on them and they are just ready to go in. I've got some prawns. I have some sweet potato which I have diced up into centimetre cubes, and I've just blanched those in the fish stock for about 6 minutes. It's just to start to soften those, and because the cassoulet will come together quite quickly, there wouldn't have been enough time for the sweet potatoes to soften within the cassoulet, so I've given them a little bit of a head start and I've given them 5 minutes in fish stock. And then I have my fish stock, I've got a little bit of wine. I'm going to put a little bit of tomato puree through the cassoulet just to give it a bit of body and also a little bit more flavour, and I'm going to give my thyme a little bit of a haircut just to finish it off and let that simmer away at the end. Obviously we've got salt and pepper there. Okay, I've got a little bit of oil in my fry pan, just a little bit. You don't want loads in there because ultimately you're going to end up skimming that back out. I'm going to drop my onions and my garlic in there first of all and set those away to sweat off. Because these are a raw ingredient, salt and pepper, not too much because you can always add more, you can't take it away, so not too much. Fry those off, sweat those, I'll let them soften a little bit before I add anything more to that. I'm using a non-stick frying pan because I'm lucky enough to have a large non-stick frying pan at home. It doesn't have to be, you could use a saucepan. I'm also using it for demonstration purposes so I can tip it and see what's going on. That would be slightly more difficult in a saucepan. But you do not have to have the exact equipment that I am using. You utilise what you've got at home. Okay, those onions are, you probably just hear that, actually if I switch that off, you can probably just hear those onions sizzling away. They're not too rapidly, you don't want to burn them, but they're just sizzling away, softening down. Looking at them, I can see that they're almost going opaque in colour. Yes, they've got the red flesh because they're a red onion, but the white on it is going opaque, and that's what I'm looking for. Stir around. I've got a lovely aroma of garlic in there already. Pop some thyme in whilst there's not a lot of liquid in the pan. Straight away the thyme has hit the heat of the pan and I can smell it. It's absolutely lovely. Okay, now just getting everything ready to go in, because what we do now is we layer it and it goes quite quickly. I'm going to put my wine in. I'm going to put a good glug of tomato in there. And that is going to give some body straight away. Show you that. Now because I've put something in there which is going to reduce, that will reduce and continue until there's nothing left in that pan, barring solid. Now I don't want that to burn. I'm going to add my sweet potatoes because they have some fish stock on them. I'm going to add a little more fish stock. And that will continue to reduce and form a sticky sauce on the onions that's in there, on the sweet potato. It's looking lovely. Add my beans. There's a good stir around. Make sure you get around the sides of the pan. Add a little more fish stock in there. Notice I haven't just chucked all the fish stock in one go. I'm letting it reduce down, then I'm adding more. I don't want to push the tomato, which is effectively thickening that sauce. I don't want to push that to the point where it's ineffective. And what that's going to do now, I've got a lovely, quite a wet consistency in there, but that's going to reduce further. And that's going to come down. And what I'm starting to see now is my sweet potatoes are starting, some of them are starting to get to the point where they're cooked. So I'm going to stop moving that around now because I don't want to break them up too much. I'm going to let that simmer. Turn that down slightly, and I'm going to turn my water up because that's nearly to the boil. So I'm about 15 minutes away from completing. What I have prepared in a pan, I have some tender stem broccoli. I'm going to give those a little glug of oil, just a little bit. Bit of salt, bit of pepper, and just for a different flavour, because I'm poaching, I'm boiling effectively, or braising. I'm going to roast this, something a little different. So that's going into the oven for about 10 minutes. Prawns in there. I'm just going to continue to let that reduce down. The smell, I wish you could smell this. The smell on this is incredible. I'm not a massive seafood lover. But this smells incredible. I do love cooking it. Just tasted it there. It's a little more seasoning. Okay, now continue to reduce. By reducing, you're intensifying the flavour. Now my water's come to the boil there. I'm going to time this now. 1 in, 2 in. See why leaving those strands on of cling film helps you put them in. So I'm going to give them 10 minutes, then I'm going to bring it out and I'm going to see what it feels like to me. Okay, because they're wrapped up in cling film, it's not as easy as sticking a temperature probe in to see what they're like. So from experience I know that they will take about 12 minutes, but I'll check them at 10. Turn that up slightly. I want a little bit more intensity in that simmer. Two plates, obviously appropriate to service style, so I want them hot. I'm going to continue to reduce reduce the pan. I'm going to watch my broccoli in the oven for roasting. And I'm also going to continue to time my my place paupiettes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you now, and I'll come back to the video once I've got everything ready for service and we'll plate it up together. I'll see you soon.